is a very unconventional director, and he shoots in a very unconventional way. His process is very unconventional. His casting is very unconventional. Like, at no point was I expecting this to be like, you know, a run-of-the-mill usual experience, and that was definitely demonstrated in the process of shooting it. I mean, we came to work and we just didn't know what was going to happen. Francis is very kind of experimental. Sometimes we'd be very, very like particular, and then other days it was like we're playing a game and now it's in the movie. Like, the movie kind of discovered itself at times, and so it was like an experience I'd never had before, and you know, we'll probably never have again. So I'm very grateful for that. I think what this teaches us a lot about humanity and society is that we often fall into the same habits and mistakes, and you know, that age-old saying of like history repeats itself, but it will express itself in different ways, and you know, there's always going to be aspects that will feel familiar, you know. But I think this movie is particularly timely because we're at a point where we're talking about things like the future of our planet, the future of society, who do we want to be, and some of these, especially now, like I feel like the world at times feels like it's in such a sort of like damning place. Like, it feels like so hard at times, and I'm sort of like, I don't understand these things, and like, who do we need to be? What choices do we need to make things better? And I feel like this movie just really speaks to that at this time. I always feel that it's a very small percentage of people. It doesn't matter where you are, whether I'm from the UK, obviously. There's a very small percentage of people who are making decisions for the masses, and that really shouldn't. I personally don't think that should be the case, but this is why we have our vote, and we get to vote. We're lucky to live in democracies where we get to have our say, and we get to impact change. And so, you know, I wish that people felt much more empowered to do so. The movie definitely just throws up a lot of questions and doesn't necessarily always answer them in a very like clean, like, you know, bow tied, like, here you go, and fed back to you. I think it forces us as audience members to answer these questions for ourselves, to challenge ourselves, and maybe in our small way we can affect change as we move through our lives, our little corner of the world that we live in. What things can we do differently? And I felt when I finished the film the first time, I was like, wow, I feel really optimistic, and I hope young people will watch it and feel that way too. You know, I would make it absolutely law that all animals are like taken care of, and we all are responsible for them, as well as like children. That would be like, we would all be responsible for them in like an absolute, I don't know what the law would be, but it would be really like specific. And then there would be lots of local gardens and vegetable patches that people can just take from and like as they please, that we house everybody. And I'd like some bedazzling somewhere, just to be cute.